today. Sorry, y'all. So the Autism Speaks Hill Day is happening today. So I was in a bunch of meetings earlier. We were in a meeting with Senator Rick Scott, Senator Marco Rubio, Ted Deutsch, and Alcee Hastings' office, trying to encourage them to vote on some funds for Autism Speak in order for them to continue to do that research. Autism is like a part of my life, you know what I mean? So that's besides, I'm like being like blue, blue, blue on the Democratic side. I'm also blue, blue, blue for Autism Speak. So we were doing some stuff today, and shout out to all of those folks that's doing that good work. There's some that are still in some meetings, but I did all mine for today. All right. So what you got going on?
That's awesome. I'm so happy that you got an opportunity to kind of put that on the page. Oh, what does your shirt say?
It says, believe there is good in the world. And the blue part say, be the good. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be the good.
And while I'm over here trying to stay woke.
Right. Be the good and stay woke. That's what
we go. Because, it's Black History 365, 24/7.
Every day. And we celebrate Women's History this month, too. That's
celebrating Women's History
also.
Yeah, and that's 365 because us women, we come in and we save. Not all heroes have capes. Right. Most of us, are out here doing a thing. All right. So I'm just, this is wonderful that you're doing that. I'm also watching. I know that the session has started with the legislative session in Florida. I don't know if you had a chance to kind of glimpse DeSantis' state of the address to the state.
Oh, he did the state of the state address today?
Yeah, no, that was yesterday.
Oh, that was yesterday. I gotta go find a YouTube of it.
You know what? Why don't you watch it? And I'm gonna watch it with you, and then we can discuss it next week. Okay. Little bits and pieces that I did see, it was no bueno for me. But I digress. We can discuss that next week. But I know the thing that's on my mind and that's very near and dear to my heart is that bill that he's trying to pass to criminalize protesting. So absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I'm really concerned about that because I need to, it's unconstitutional, but hey, who's going to stop him if he's going to go ahead and put it through? So I'm hoping that, the legislators in Florida really, really take a look. One of the things that there was another Zoom on yesterday, and I think Elijah Manling was on there and they were talking about it. I think it's called HB1 or HB something. I can't remember. I got to get the correct naming for that. One of the things that one of the panelists talked about is that they removed that part in the bill where, he started saying that if you run somebody over during a protest, you won't get charged for a criminal. Well, that has been removed from the bill. However, the bill is still being presented. And I know it's very important that you reach out to your state legislator and all those who represent you, send them emails, call them, leave them messages, and let them know that they need to kill this bill and not allow it to come through. So that's one of the pet peeves I've been dealing with this week. And it's this month is Women's Month. So we wanted to just highlight a couple of women in the political realm. And I think we're going to be talking about some of Biden's appointees, those who've been confirmed and those who haven't been confirmed. But before we do that, let us know a little bit, because I know that you posted that the woman that Biden had appointed for what department that was?
He nominated?
The one he nominated, and she withdrew the nomination amid scandal.
Okay, so scandal be manufactured sometime. Okay, yeah, so she was the Neera Tanden. She was the nominee for like Office of Budget and Management.
Okay.
Yeah, so management and budget, because I think they do OMB, so it might be Office of Management and Budget, right? Yeah. So she was the nominee for that. And, with a 50-50 Senate, if all the Democrats fell in line, then she should have, and Kamala would have, gave the deciding vote, or do they? I don't know if Kamala gets involved, but I'm not sure. I can't remember if she gets involved and do the tie-breaking vote, or if it was just 50, if that would have been sufficient. That part of my civics is not kicking in right now, but Manchin, the Democratic senator from West Virginia, said he was not going to support that, right? And part of the reason
he's a Democrat.
Well, I mean, he's a Democrat in West Virginia, so I mean, I guess he's as Democratic as you could be in West Virginia winning elections. I mean, you could probably be like extremely Democratic or on whatever end of it.
Sure.
Probably not win elections in West Virginia, but I mean, for you to win elections, I mean, you got to be one of them. I guess a conservative.
He a little suspect for me, but okay, continue. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. So part of what he was talking about, but she kind of did talk about him on Twitter. So I guess he was in his feelings. And that's one of the things, like as grown folks, if the person's qualified to do the job, I don't know if we should be out here like not giving people positions because you in your feelings about some stuff they said on Twitter, right? And some of the other Republicans, like they couldn't even get the other ones they needed just one. If one of them had crossed over and said, you know what, she had the skill set, she got a PhD,
right,
like Columbia or somewhere like that, you know what I mean? So, she qualified, but they were just like, they were not going to do it because they didn't like, again, the fact that she was saying some wild stuff on Twitter about folks, right? And I'm like, but you guys were the ones that supported the president, the former president, that can't even have a Twitter account. But now,
but we didn't get rid of Marjorie Greene when she was just out there causing all kinds of havoc, and she was doing that on TV publicly. Like she didn't even do it on Twitter. Like she could have. I mean, she was just wreaking havoc everywhere. But we didn't vote to expel her. But we're not gonna, take this nomination. I'm just. So it's okay for them. It's not okay for us. That's
what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander. Like what that is. I don't know if I said that right, but maybe that's one of these situations
correct
right now. What's good for them is it. So so the word is that not that the Biden administration withdrew her nomination. They said she decided that she didn't want to go forward. And I guess if she didn't have the votes, like why go forward if you don't have the votes? And every time I say you don't have the votes, I think of Hamilton. The play Hamilton, because there's a whole song about you don't have the votes, you need congressional approval. You don't have the votes. Yeah. So that's what, I can't sing, so I shouldn't be trying to sing the song, but that's what I did. I'm like, you got to have the votes for stuff to happen.
That's true.
She didn't have the votes, and she withdrew her nomination.
So you said you don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, because, so the reason why I'm not, so the whole idea about her not getting her job because they don't like what she said about them on Twitter, to me, that's pure nonsense, right? Like, so you don't agree with like some policy stuff, or you don't think she knows how to do the job, or she not qualified. Okay, don't vote for that. But that whole, because you don't like what she said on Twitter, like, come on now, like, y'all, I don't believe they're in any positions to make any moral judgments or ethical judgments on anybody.
Not after the 4 years we had. Not after the 4 years we had.
No, that party can't make any moral, ethical judgments on nobody. Not to me. Not to me. They have no credibility for that.
They just had their little CPAC or the CPAC or whatever they had little thing going on. Was it like a couple of days ago or a day? I don't know. I can't even remember. Mm-hmm. And you have a whole golden calf. I'm calling it a calf. Because how do you make a whole gold? Didn't the Bible say that you couldn't worship idols? They had a whole idol of this man. I'm just so I don't see how someone saying something on Twitter years ago can be now condemned for saying it, but yet still we have 4 years of pure unadulterated nonsense.
To the point that he can't have a Twitter account.
Oh, Facebook too, because he's been banned from everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody and their mama banned him. Okay. Yeah. But okay, that's what y'all want. All right, then.
That's how they live.
Okay. It's Women's History Month. All right. Okay. If we're gonna do that, we're gonna do that. So who has been nominated but has not been confirmed, but they're on their way.
So let's do a little good news first, and then we'll go into the other ones that's kind of lingering still. So Cecilia Ross, who was first Black female nominated for the Council of Economic Advisors. I think she'll be working with Yellen, who's the first female Treasury Secretary.
Mm-hmm. Excited.
She got confirmed today. So she's starting her gig, so she out here making history.
She is
making her story.
And she used to be the dean at what school, sis?
Stanford, Harvard, one of them. Yeah,
Princeton. Yeah, she was.
Was it at Princeton?
Mm-hmm. She was dean of Princeton School of Public and International Affairs.
Yeah. So what she talking about?
The woman is doing things, honey. And she was in the Obama administration as well. So she has nothing but qualifications and experience. So I'm excited for her.
Yeah, we're excited for her. And then we're waiting on more secretary confirmation. I know the Secretary of Education got confirmed yesterday. Yes. And I think he's the first Hispanic to have that post. They did immigration like a couple of weeks ago. Buttigieg, who's the Secretary of Transportation, he got confirmed. The one person Lloyd, who we thought was going to need like a waiver, he got confirmed. Whatever, 2 or something like that.
So what about Michael Reagan? Michael Reagan, he's
environmental guy, right? He's supposed to be. I haven't heard about what's going on with him. I don't think he's confirmed yet.
For the EPA department.
Yeah. So I know it's environmental. I don't think so. I haven't heard that. But I mean, we could.
I'm really surprised that they haven't jumped on that, and maybe we need to do a little bit of research because the environment is very, very important, especially with what happened with Texas, a week ago. So
Texas is more of a that probably the energy secretary who has been confirmed already. The energy secretary she was the former governor of Michigan. Don't ask me her name right now, but she did get confirmed. So the former governor, she got confirmed. So the energy secretary is there because what happened in Texas a week and a half ago, probably 2 weeks ago now, was that they're the only ones who privately own their utilities in terms of electricity. All the other states, they're on a grid together. There's a west one and an east one, and they share. In Texas, like, we got oil, we got wind power. We're gonna do this by ourselves and turn it into some kind of stock market, and we're gonna let some business guys control energy utilities, which I don't think that's no good idea. And then they saw what happened. And those guys knew they were in trouble. So I think 3 of them resigned already, but that still don't stop you from getting sued, bruh. So we'll see how that happened. I mean, there were folks with like $10,000, $17,000 electricity bills. And the ones that were on automatic draft, that company actually took the money out of them people's bank account. Okay. So yeah. So, and then I think they've also, the Attorney General there has filed a class action lawsuit against those folks to try to get those people money back. So,
well, I mentioned Texas with Michael Reagan only because the environment, I think how long ago was it? Almost 50 or 100 years before Texas had that type of weather before.
Yeah, but they actually had a warning in 2011 that their equipment wasn't weatherized and that they need to weatherize their equipment.
Sure. Yeah. And So, but I think both those people, Reagan and the former governor of Michigan, need that's something that should work together. I'm just hoping that we missed it, that the EPA has been approved because we need to get the climate change and the climate thing that's important. So hopefully that has happened for Mr. Reagan. Because can I say, and no disrespect to my wonderful husband, whatever, but Mr. Reagan is quite handsome, and he would look very good on that board of that whole, not that board, excuse me, that whole cabinet. Okay, just make it all look good. All right. So who are we missing in terms of getting themselves?
Okay, so we know that. Hold on. Let's see. Let me see. I'm looking it up right now and see if they've confirmed him. I don't see it.
So they probably haven't done it.
Well, he had his confirmation hearing.
Okay.
But I don't see that he was confirmed.
Okay.
He's going to inherit a mess.
That's true, but I think he's ready for the job. I think he's ready to get in there. And I'm pretty sure he's working behind the scenes right now, trying to make sure that things are organized. Rep Fudge, we're waiting on. She hasn't been confirmed. She would be the head of HUD, right? The secretary.
Her House of Urban Development. She had her hearing, and Michael Reagan also had his hearing. Because I'm looking at it now. He had his hearings on for February the 3rd and the 9th, and I'm not sure why he hasn't. They haven't confirmed him yet. I don't see where they did.
I feel like the Senate is just does it feel like the Senate dragging their feet with this?
I think they just got a lot to do because there's a lot going on. There was a mess left behind. There was 4 years of nothing happening. And
it's not, and I feel like that y'all caused that January 6th insurgent to the coup d'etat. I mean, but at the end of the day, the American people is like, that's not our problem. we need these done. We need these things approved so people can start doing their job.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna need Washington to get a little bit like, I'm gonna need Kamala, Vice President Harris, to kind of get people to move it along, because time is of the essence.
Yeah. And then we're also waiting for the vote on the Attorney General, Merrick Garland. So that hasn't happened. He had his hearings, but they're waiting for the votes. But I think I heard something that Mitch McConnell's going to vote for him. So if Mitch McConnell's going to vote for him, then most likely he'll get confirmed. I don't see too many people some people may not vote for him, but I think he'll get his confirmation. I think Mitch McConnell is just trying to he's trying to
do this.
He's trying to get good with God since he's
trying to fix his face.
He's trying to get good with God.
He's picking it up off the floor to try to fix it so he can fix it for everybody else. It's too late though, bro.
Yeah. So
what's the other one's name? What's that other one's name? Can't forget. It's just, he has it's this name that's so, I don't know. Him and that other one. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I don't know. I don't even know if they, I guess for me, the most scary part is that they would get reelected. I just feel it like they would get reelected.
Yeah. So I think if Houston, if the weather that happened in Texas happened before November, I don't think Ted Cruz would have gotten reelected. Right. So he just got reelected. So he's there until about 2025 or something like that. Right. Or was it this time? Yeah. He just got his race was in 2018. It was in 2018.
So he's up in 2022.
So he's up in 24, and then his term finished in 25. He actually, because Beto ran against him in 2018, but they just elected their other senator just past election, and maybe people would have made some different kind of decisions if they saw that this is how their election.
I guarantee you, if Beto won in 2018. This would have been that what happened almost 2 weeks ago would have been a whole different story.
It would have been different. And even if it did happen, at least he would have stuck around to try to help people instead of trying to dip and go to Mexico instead of Ritz-Carlton.
Blame it on his babies. Who does that? Ted Cruz. That's who does that. Ted Cruz.
Exactly.
But I digress. So I've since Women History started, I've been posting my women on Facebook, and and every single one of them are Black women. So I'm just gonna put that out there because I'm all about.
They don't want to teach it at school. We'll teach it on Facebook.
There we go. That's what we're doing.
They put it in the curriculum.
Apparently there is a curriculum, but there's no mandate to teach it. So. That's one of the things I plan on tackling too with the legislator, because there needs to be some mandates. There needs to be some mandatories going on here.
Just teach real American history. If you teach the truth, it will be people of color will be included.
And here's the thing. There is a way to teach children from K through 5. About the truth of this country, even if it's uncomfortable, but there's a way to teach it to them at their level to understand. And then you add on as they get older, right? I was having a conversation with somebody, I can't remember. And one of the things I kept on pointing out is that you have to have these uncomfortable conversations in order to get progress, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like if you're able to have a conversation that's uncomfortable, but you find and I don't want to use the word happy medium, you find a place where you can either agree to disagree or agree to be like, okay, yeah, that's kind of wrong, but my view is on it is different from yours, but they align somehow, some way. We can kind of have a place where we can kind of create and move forward in a space that we can deal with each other. But if you're not having a conversation where, I was, okay, for instance, I try to stop watching reality shows, but, I got sucked in with one of them. But one of it's Mississippi, a bunch of women in Mississippi, and they were having a brunch, and they had one
L Collective one.
Yeah, did you watch it?
No. I refuse to.
You'll be surprised. It's not. You know what? I thought I was going to be turned off about it. I promise you, you'll be pleasantly surprised. Anyway, they had a brunch. One of the Black women brought a white woman there, and it was all entrepreneurial women who have businesses, and they were all talking about the problems they were receiving from outside and how they didn't want to work with them, didn't want to give them loans, and how, their Black experience. So the white girl gets up, gets upset, goes outside the room and start crying to my white people don't talk about you like that. And she's crying, and I'm thinking to myself, the tears, the victimization, it's not us. We don't look at you that way. And I guess my disappointment from that clip was not one of these. Well, what they did say, said, listen, it has nothing to do with you. This is our experience, right? I was a little annoyed because I feel like no one really said to her, listen, why are you making this about you? Number one. Number two, you speak for all white people when you say they don't think about you like that. They think, okay, that's number two. Number three, I'm just trying to understand why you minimizing what's going on with us. And to me, that's how I felt. She minimized it. She made it about her, and she was crying, saying that we don't look at you. White people don't think about Black people like that. Well, what country you live in? And you come from the most southern of southern states, Mississippi. So I digress. Hey, Steve.
How's it going?
It's going. Bet that up, Sonny. Oh my Lord!
You busy? I know you're a busy woman.
Listen, I got my list of phone calls I got to make after 5. I was about to embark on call 2, and I said, "Oh Lord, it's 5:57." But I'll be here. I
appreciate you.
Now let me ask you, which page are we on Facebook? Because then I'll share it over to my page.
So I shared it on my page, but it's originally on the Democratic Women's Club page, but I shared it on my page too.
Okay.
So you can share it you can either go to me or Democratic Women's Club of Greater Broward.
Ew, I see you and myself.
Right. Okay.
I see you too.
It's all right. Let's see. On now.
So you're like, so it was perfect that you came on now because you Black history and you women history.
You sure is.
You're covering all of it.
Well,
yes, ma'am.
I can go run and get a crown real quick if need be.
You might want to go ahead and just go ahead and get that done real quick.
We're doing all of it today. All of it today.
Every last bit of it. So you know what we're gonna do, Felicia? We're gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself. We want you to introduce yourself.
Cabinet picks, and then she was actually talking about a show that has a bunch of Black women entrepreneurs on there. Was it Bell Collective or something like that? I don't know if you're familiar with that. I don't watch it, but she was talking about that experience about how Black women entrepreneurs run into issues of getting loans and getting support and that type of thing. And they had a person that was supposed to be an ally that is or supposed to be, I'm not sure what the word is, and she took personal offense to what was being said, saying that she's not like that and the people she know not like that. But I don't know if that's really the point. The conversation should have been. So you can speak as a female entrepreneur and like what kind of support you receive and like how is it as you launch and try to grow your business. But just introduce yourself because I'm talking to you like everybody already know who you are. Everybody do already know who you are. But go ahead and do like a real introduction.
There you go.
So, hi, everybody. My name is Felicia Martin, soon to be Forbes. And I am the owner of Training House, which is a professional training company that helps businesses do business. The reason why I opened my training company was, of course, have my own business and leverage my career over to something that I could have for myself. But I really wanted to be able to give the smaller businesses that high level of corporate training. So I opened the business so I can have corporate clients pay me so I can be philanthropic with our small businesses and give them that same level of training that would cost you like $5,000 just to even have the conversation. So
amazing. That is amazing.
So what is that? So when you said you're bringing that corporate experience into small businesses, most people don't know that. Like I've been a small business owner for like, And I actually don't, I have been, but I don't really like claim it. Like people ask me what I do. I don't usually put entrepreneur in it because I focus more on the law side of what I do as opposed to the business side of what I do. So what is it that you would do? What is it that you do for a business? Because when people think of like bringing in a trainer, especially small businesses, we never think we need that. Whereas big corporations, they understand liability, they understand money, they understand like why you need to have that data, that research, that information in order for you to grow. They know that every year, in order for you to consider yourself successful, you need to have an increase in percentage in terms of profit. But you know, we be like, in small business, we like, yo, all the bills got paid. I was able to bring a little bit of money back home, and I can take a trip this year. So I'm all right. You know what I mean? We do it as like a job as opposed to like, this is something we're trying to build upon.
I'm watching my 7-year-old almost abuse my dog. Real quick. I don't see him reaching back. But you know what, Sonny, to that point right there, what I do, first thing I do is teach small businesses to think big, but be small. So when we say think big, you know, you don't need an onboarding program for the one cashier you're going to have for the rest of your life. Right? You don't need that, but you do need standards of service. You do need a script. You do need to teach that one person what is the difference between upselling and suggestive selling. When Chick-fil-A says, would you like to try our new da-da-da, that is suggestive selling. When Burger King automatically says, would you like a large, that is upselling. So I try to take the big picture and show you how you can fit it into your frame. For example, I just did a free consultation for a Black ice cream shop. And what I also like to do is fill in the gaps, right? The one thing we like to do is information. We like to say, how'd you do this? How do you do this? And people are like, I'm not telling you, you need to do your own work, your own. Well, guess what? All them organizations done told me and paid me good for it. And I'm going to tell you for the low, low price of $25 a head, right? So for instance, the young lady I'm working with, I had to teach her how to measure how to work her product so she doesn't end up wasting at the end of the evening. That's something you learn working 2-3 years at a Chili's, being a manager of a Pollo Tropical, but not when you're just the manager of your small business restaurant, because 10-to-1, what we try to do is monetize our talent, right? And we forget the business, whether it's the person who's a great baker and wants to open their own bakery because everybody says I'll pay for your cake, to the athlete, right? Who gets crapped on his contract because he can run like no other. But when it comes to the business part, we don't think out that far. Right. So I definitely try to, through strategic question asking, I try to get my small business owners to think big, right? Don't disappoint the customer. Don't disturb your routine, and don't deny yourself the dollar. Right. That's what I try to collect data, right? Because when you're talking, like one of the things I think a lot of folks, because I was in a situation where I was in a meeting, and you know, like I have an MBA, but I have more of a policy brain than a business brain, but I do understand some business stuff. And one of the things that they were trying to do was decide whether or not they were doing too many hours, like they were working too many hours, right? I'm like, well, you need to know what time. You can't just say, I'm just going to cut half the time. You don't know that. You got to see maybe one night your peak is between this particular time and another night is a difference. So even if you're going to just cut the time in half, you need to make sure you cutting out the right half. You can't just, well, I don't think you should just across the board just cut the half. And I'm sitting in this thing and I'm like, I'm gonna shut up because you know sometimes people be thinking like I think I know too much or whatever and I'm talking too much. But I was like, this ain't the way to do that. You should have been collecting data for the last couple of months and seeing like when do people show up, like when do they use this service, and then decide how you gonna cut. Don't let it be like no majority rule, let's vote on it. I'm like, what? Or simply learn a P&L formula, profit and loss.
Yeah.
How much does it cost you to be open 1 hour a day? From your lights to your labor, how much does it cost for you to be open 7 to 8 a.m. versus 9 to 10 p.m.? Right? You factor in the cost of product, how much you think your average sale per hour, and the cost of the labor per hour. You do a simple formula, no matter if you're Pollo Tropical, Restaurant 27, or Just Spoons, it works the same. It's just like algebra. You fill in the letters and the formula works the same. So again, we want to monetize our talent because we know we have something to sell. But my saying is everybody wants to be sold, but nobody wants to know they're sold. Right? So when I pull up to a restaurant and I don't find out till I've left that you just added mojitos to the menu, I'm upset. Why didn't you try to suggest that to me, upsell that to me? But I don't want you to push it on me, but I do want to know. Right. So, and it's the little things that we don't do just because we're not exposed to it.
Right.
You know, we're not coming from, this is my 6th business. You know, my mom and dad did this and they did this. We're like, we cook well, we sew well, we do hair well. We need to monetize this. Now that is, of course, it's not blanket across the board, but for the most part, that's what I'm experiencing with our small businesses.
Right, and they figure like if they don't mind doing that with their time, so they'll do it anyway. But I'm like, you probably paying these people to eat your food, right? Because you're not charging enough, or you're giving them too much, right? So you really like paying them to eat your food. Like that makes no sense to me.
Portions will kill a restaurant.
Listen, I eat a lot of Haitian food, you could tell. And I'm telling you, the amount of rice that they give you on a plate of Haitian food, I'm like, dude, they feeding 4 people with this rice, right? Like, don't give us this much rice.
Well, rice is where you can do that, though. So how you use rice, I know you like how you need to have a conversation about rice. Because
I'm talking about rice. Yeah, but I order rice from Pollo, and they giving it to me in a container, charging me $4, and the Haitian gave me a whole white old styrofoam full of rice. Like, why they doing that?
Find the product you can leverage. So rice costs Pollo like, let's just for exaggeration purposes,
charge for their rice.
3 cents a bag. 3 cents a bag
for their rice.
Right. Let's say it costs 3 cents a bag. Rice is where if you mess up, you can go ahead and make some more. It's not gonna cost you too much. Rice is you can give them a lot and impress without having to give away the chicken that costs a little more or the shrimp a little more. So I understand why our Caribbean restaurants and our our foreigner restaurants, if you will, load up on the rice thing. 1, we all grew up on it. And 2, you can make a really good impression on your customer portion wise for a very small amount of money. So there's the rice thinking, if you will, the rice strategy.
But but they put a lot of that. They don't be selling white rice though. They putting beans in that mug. They putting that expensive mushroom up in there. That thing got that peas in there. That thing got spice. That ain't no white rice from Pollo.
If they
got a lot of stuff in it.
If they monetize their product properly, they itemize their product properly. That rice don't cost them that much.
Okay.
Yeah. The 3 things, the chicken, beans, and rice at Pollo are the things that cost them the least. 'Tis why they can sell a quarter meal for $3.99 and still make great profit off of it.
And then sell me tostones for the same price, and I get like 4.
Tostones cost a lot. Yeah, they cost a lot.
So when you are doing with small businesses, and I know that's a different dynamic from the corporate side to the small business. What have you found in your experience in terms of our community and our small businesses? What do you think? And I know you've done some shows specifically on that, on services, how you treat your customers and all that other stuff. Because, we always get this, and I'm talking about us because we family. There's always, we don't give our own the same, chances that we would give McDonald's when they mess up with our food.
You're talking about on the customer side.
On the customer side. I just think for us as a community, I just think that we kind of have these standards for ourselves and these standards for other people, but they're not interchangeable. So what have you found in your experience doing your work with our community? And what do you think that we should do, not just as patrons and customers, but also potential business owners and so forth?
So great question, Narnique. What I have noticed is there is no difference from the Black customer side. There is a difference from the Black business owner side. And let me try to be very specific because I want to be careful with our folks.
Okay.
As I said on the service call we had, there is no such class called How to Be a Customer. That's not a one. There is only a class on customer service. So I hate to say it, but you can have no expectation of the customer except not to be violent with you. That's it. They can walk in, and not saying they're right, but there's no expectation that you can really put on them except to not physically attack you. Right? You can't say you shouldn't be loud. You can't complain. I mean, they're human. They're going to choose whichever route they're going to choose. What I see is, and I just had this conversation earlier, a lot of our business owners expect us to understand. And what I want business owners to understand is we do treat y'all like Walmart. We don't give a hell when they ain't got it, and we don't give a hell when you ain't got it. We're going to be mad the same. So we do treat you like Walmart. It's just that Sam Walton didn't hear what we said, but you did. We do treat you the same. It's just like this little old manager over here heard it and not the owner of the actual business. That's the difference on who gets the feedback.
Right.
So one thing I have noticed about our business owners is that we expect us to understand. And tell me if you've noticed this. Let's say a business owner is late to opening their brick and mortar. They're supposed to open the restaurant at 12. They get there at 1.
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell you everything that happened. Traffic. They couldn't get their child to school. Their baby daddy came through with the bullshit. Baby left shoe. Baby, I don't really care. Where's my food, right? White owner with the bait and tackle shop opening an hour late. I'm so sorry, miss. Oh, I'm so sorry, miss. What can I help you with? That's it. Either you're going to walk in here and be okay with it. You're going to walk in here and cuss me out, or you're going to walk out. But what you do not walk out with is half my information.
Right.
And that's that familiarity that can work for us or work against us.
Right.
And until you get that close to your customer, like the Just Spoons owner can probably say that to me. Girl, the damn wife was tripping to me, right? But I wouldn't advise you to say that to just a customer coming through.
Right.
That's what I mean by we really expect our customers to understand when you can't deliver. No. No.
Yeah.
We don't understand when Walgreens can't deliver. It's just that their owner doesn't hear it. Because you're the owner and you're in the store, you hear it. But yes, we do cut up the same way we cut up in other places, if you will.
Yeah, but don't you think sometimes like they do expect a little bit more from us because they've made themselves familiar without us necessarily giving them permission, right?
Yes.
Because I'm in a space where I'm like, and I've worked for other people. It may not seem like it, but I have, and I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it because it's just certain things I just never would do. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, I got to tell you why I got to tell you why I'm not coming to work today. Like, I just don't want to do that part. But I've had jobs before, right? And I've worked in a firm. So, you know, I talk about business. I have a practice that, you know, I kind of work how I want to work it. So, but I've worked in other offices before. And I've seen the scandalous things that other attorneys have done, right? Like, I'm just like, and then I've seen my people, you know, I love Black people, even though they break my heart all the time, you know what I'm saying? But I've seen them put up with it. And not only with the bad service, the disrespect, the work ain't getting done, blah, 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 blah. And they paying top dollar on top of that, right?
That's why. But that's why. And
they don't, and they take it. But then they come in, you know, and I'm like, and I'll charge the same or less or whatever. But all of a sudden, like now you talking about like, I'll never go to another Black Haitian female lawyer again. So like their one experience with me had basically just ruined it for the whole Black female Haitian lawyer population. And I'm like, but I remember you from that other office putting up with this nonsense, and you just didn't give up on that whole race and gender of folks.
We are victims of society like anybody else, right? So the same way other races have been misled and they have these thoughts about interacting with us, we are the same victimization. And unfortunately, a lot of customers have run into too many businesses that perpetuate the stereotype they heard. If you'd heard one thing and then every time you go to interact, it's not the same, then you'd kill it at some point. But every time you go to interact, if what you heard is validated.
I need to push back on that just a little bit, right? So, because I'm thinking of I don't want to completely personalize it because like some of the experience that I've had, you know, most of my friends are lawyers and a lot of them are a business owner, you know, have their own practice or whatever. So and then when you get into these conversations, it's a conversation that happen all the time, right? Like, but it's not even. Sometimes it's not even about us perpetuating a stereotype. Folks come in with that energy, right? They come in with this energy. They coming in like it's going to be effed up. You know what I'm saying? And they expect it to be terrible. And then so they bring you this energy and got you can't even think straight because they come in with all this negativity and something may or may not have gone wrong. Some of it is not necessarily like, you know, because for me, I do stuff, send it off. once I give you proof that it was sent off, don't bother me no more. Like, why you clowning on me? And I don't, you got proof I sent your money off and all of that. But I think they come in expecting us to like screw up. And even if it's something that's not necessarily our fault, they want us to take responsibility from it, and they make the experience not a very good one. And then they're crossing everybody off, right? And to make it just a little more specific, I send stuff off to immigration all the time. They got a receipt that immigration got it. They got a receipt that immigration got the money. They got but when it takes 2 years, it's my fault. And it's because they came to me that their stuff didn't happen 11 months ago, when I'm like, but you got proof that immigration got your money. We're like, how's this my fault? Right? So I don't think it's about us not doing what we're supposed to do. I think they come in expecting us to do like hood ghetto stuff or whatever. I don't know. And no matter what we do, it's interpreted as hood ghetto stuff, even though it's not necessarily on us.
I don't doubt that happens. So I definitely agree that happens, that folks will walk in with a premonition, their own crap on their shoulder. And that actually happens every time a customer walks in anywhere. You don't know what they're walking in with, right? So the same way they walk in with negative energy to your law office is the same way they'll walk into negative energy to the Miami Heat basketball game, right? They got the same negative energy. And no matter what you're doing, they're just not taking it really well. You have those one-offs. What I have found, particularly in your field, in the professional service field, and I'm not saying it's you, Sonny, just in general.
Yeah.
It's the communication.
Mm-hmm.
Were they told the timeline, the expected timeline? Just saying, yes, we sent off the $700 to immigration January 1st, and you got your receipt that they received it January 3rd. You're not going to hear anything till December of next year. If you know from experience that it's going to take about 10 months, and because of this 10-month delivery time, I catch all this heat because they don't understand how immigration, explain that to them up front.
Okay.
And same thing with restaurants. If you tell me it's going to be a 10-minute wait, instead of making me wait 12 minutes, it's a different interaction when I come to you. Right.
But okay, so let me tell you what the restaurants be doing wrong. They tell you it's a 10-minute wait after they done took your money.
Correct.
Yo,
right?
let me decide if I want to wait 10 minutes on them fries before you take my money. Don't take my money and then tell me to wait for the food.
Same thing. Let the people know how long it's going to take before you send off their money.
Right.
Straight up. And that's the one thing business.
No, but that we don't know, because we didn't know Trump was going to go start messing with the postal service. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you want me to do about that? Like, I ain't know that was going to get super stupid. Like,
let me tell you what you could do about that. Honestly, be proactive. Right. So instead of them calling you, you call them. Right. Maybe you get the first phone call. It's been forever. And you get it in your head. Oh, crap. It's the post office. It's Trump. Then all those other 4 that may be outstanding, you pick up the phone and call them. Hey, I'm noticing it's going to probably be another 4 months because whatever. Boom. I know specifically when a customer has to chase the business for money or information, that experience is going to be frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
It's like when cops beat you more if they had to run after you versus if you just stood there. So the chase lends to a lot of that when they finally get you.
Right.
So I tell all business owners, whatever you can tell them, be transparent, be upfront, and give people the right to choose. If they want to use you, if they want to wait 10 minutes, if they want to have a smaller size, you got to give people their options because they're going to feel like you're trying to do something else.
Okay.
And if we remember the same way
you some good advice for free.
But the same way you remembered offhand what the restaurants could do to help you as a customer. I think business owners forget sometimes when you're a customer, you have expectations.
Right.
That's the same thing sitting across the room from you, and you have to empathize with what they're feeling. Yeah. Customers are not always right, but they are always worth it. That's the part we forget. You don't have to agree to get that customer to repair that relationship with the customer. You don't have to acquiesce and let that customer beat you down to the ground just to get them to come back for another meal. But you do have to engage. You do have to answer their questions, and you have to have enough knowledge to know when this is going nowhere and how to use respectfully bow out of the conversation. I used to give that to our Spirit Airlines service agents. You could imagine the cuss out they get, right? Spirit Airlines.
Because they bring that energy. They bring that energy to the conversation. They be like, it ain't my damn fault. It's only one flight. You know what I'm saying? And you
Now, when I was there, they didn't say damn.
46 minutes before the gate closed. I can't do all this in 1 minute. You getting on the flight tomorrow.
When I was there, they didn't say damn, but they did one flight. But you know what? I'm gonna give you a good nugget here off of Spirit Airlines. Again, taking the big corporation and bringing it to the small business. When I went to the ice cream parlor, I asked her, what kind of service do you want to give? Because I don't think businesses know there's 3 types. Good, neutral, and bad. And you can make money off all 3. There is a restaurant right now that makes buku money off bad Yelp reviews. Right? There's this restaurant in Tallahassee where they're known for cussing you out. You go in there to see if they're going to cuss you out.
So I went to school in Chicago, and there was a place called Harold Chickens. And you went in, and you're familiar with Harold's? You listen, it ain't gonna be nothing is fun about that experience, but they always have a long line. Either they're gonna cuss you out, make you wait 45 minutes for your food, or they're gonna give it to somebody else in your face because somebody else they knew came in and they dare you to say something.
That's the selling point.
And they're behind the cage, so they know you can't jump back there and do nothing, right? And everybody went there. Like everybody went there to eat.
They found a way to leverage bad service.
Yes,
so
yes.
Spirit does neutral customer service. Now they may have changed now in 21, but when I was there, they did something called neutral. So let me ask you something.
They don't care. You can be
an experiment. I'm gonna do an experiment with
$40.
Let's see what she does. Go ahead, Felicia.
So Narnique, let me ask you something. What do you buy when you buy a plane ticket?
What I think I buy is a seat and some nuts.
Okay, so you bought a seat and some nuts. Did you buy the right to get there safely? You want to get to New York or Mexico, wherever you're going. Right?
I assume that I'm going to get there safely. That's my assumption.
Do you assume your bag is going to get there?
I assume my bag is going to come with me. Yes.
Okay. Do you assume you're going to get cussed out?
No, I don't assume that I'm going to get cussed out. I don't believe it, but I do assume that I'm going to get some attitude, not no cussing out, because I cuss out.
When you buy a regular plane ticket, you're sitting online, you be like, oh, I just bought an attitude. No. That's what Spirit Airlines does. Give the people what they bought. When they sat down to spiritair.com, they bought transportation, either back and forth or just forth. They have bought a bag. Make sure our planes are safe and on time. Make sure our bags get to the place they're supposed to go. They did not buy an attitude. They did not buy the red carpet. Give them what they bought. Now, the same way they said, don't be extra nice, it's because they didn't want you to have to live up to that each and every time. Don't roll out this big red carpet, making people believe this is the type of service you're going to get each and every interaction. Also, don't be giving people attitude, cussing them out and being all rude, because they shouldn't get that every interaction either. What they should get is what they bought. Safe transportation to their destination and back, and their bag arriving on time with them. Make sure those things happen. Check them in properly. Follow all FAA guidelines.
That's it.
That's it. Now, there's a way to leverage that. What they did was start teaching their passengers, this is what we're going to give you. But they didn't call it, you didn't buy no champagne. They just said, hey, we give you what you paid for. You paid for a seat. You got there. And they said it with a smile. Did you not get there? Did your bag arrive? All right. Didn't even say have a good day.
No.
Don't want to go. You got to choose what level of service you want to be. If you know that you're not going to have the staff to give that rollout red carpet Disney service, then maybe you just want to have neutral service. Don't give them attitude, but don't give them high expectations either if you can't carry it. Right.
That's it. Don't give the clients your cell phone. That's what she's trying to tell y'all.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have all that access.
Don't overpromise.
Because they can cuss you out after 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Yes, they surely. I know I will. I mean, Sunday, how many times I call you 7 p.m. Sunday? You're
the only one. They call me Sunday at 8 a.m. and be mad I answer the phone. Like, I called you. Like, yo, bro, you called me Sunday at like 7 a.m. We're not together. You don't get to call me at that time.
It's funny, you asked me a question earlier, and I don't think I got a chance to answer it. And I think you asked me, how am I received when I go into businesses and so forth? Do I get the same?
We're talking. Because we have these businesses, and a lot of times we have like great ideas. We want to grow. Like, how is it that are the banks wanting to give you money? Are people buying into your vision? Are they like, because some, I remember when the Reddit thing happened. Was it Reddit when the GameStop stock where they made it like go?
Yeah.
They stopped letting people trade, and so for those guys to not go bankrupt, they had to raise at least I think it was like $3 billion or something, and they raised it in like 2 days. Listen. I think if I needed to raise like $3,000 tomorrow, I couldn't, right? So it's like those folks with money get that support, get that encouragement. They know them kind of people. And, you have your business with a good idea, good vision, good service, blah, 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 and you may just need a little bit in order for you to go to the next level or whatever. And are you finding that you can do that? Are you getting like the kind of support that you would need in order for you to grow, build? Do people trust what you're saying? Because that's another thing too, right? It's like you're a woman of color acting like you got some skill set that's not really associated with women of color. And you come in here trying to tell them how to run their business and they be like, you know how to do that, right? Are you facing that in the work you're doing now?
So I would say that
I said a lot. I'm sorry, though.
Okay, I caught it all. Okay. Presentation is key. And I've been presenting, I don't know how long. And every business owner needs to be versed in sales because you're always selling yourself, right? So in my career as working as training, I've had to sell training classes, right? Because training itself is a cost center. So to answer your question shortly, I've been preparing for this, right? So training as a whole is a cost center to any corporation. You got to pay for the materials. You got to pay this, pay that, the time it takes for the employee off the job to learn. We're a cost center, right? So I've always had to go pitch. We need this training. It's going to cost this money to the executives that don't look like me, right? To the uppers that don't look like me, to the managers that don't look like me. Some of them didn't go to college. They look at me as the bougie girl that doesn't know what she's talking about. Or some of them are like, yeah, everybody thinks training is important. It's presentation. When you have your ish together, seriously, unless you are sitting across from the head of the clan, they can't deny you. Right. Unless somebody just wants to do you wrong because you're a woman, want to do you wrong because you're Black. In my experience has shut it all down. Once they hear the industries that I've worked across, I'm usually never questioned. You work for Spirit Airlines, TD Bank, Ocean Bank, FIU, now Polar Tropical. Sit down and talk to me. So my resume walks in the door before I do. And then when I sit down to talk to you, it is very clear I know what I'm talking about. I'm not bull crapping you. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm fulfilling a need, right? So the same way I have you guys captivated right now in this conversation is the same way I do them. Yeah, it's about comfort and knowledge.
Yeah. So you have that knowledge. So I have one of those resumes that look real good too, right? And then I walk in the room.
Mine is good, Sonny.
Good on paper. I don't even know if I could really academically or intellectually live up to my resume, right? So they see the resume, and then I have one of these names that you don't know where I'm from. Like I could be Black, I may not be, just because And then I walk in and they be like, wait, who are you? Right? And this is legit happened to me. Like I've gone into a place and I said, there's like, they asked me, am I sure? There's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm real sure of who I am. Right? God witness. I went to an interview and they asked me, am I sure I'm Sandra Chanfran? I was like, yes, I'm very sure that's who I am. And it was, I mean, if they sat and spoke to me, but I think they couldn't get past the fact that,
you're a whole Nubian queen.
At the time I had
get over the fact that she was a Nubian queen.
So I don't have them now, but at the time
I said, you was a whole Nubian queen.
I will tell you, early in my career, I was told I'm easier to palate. And I had to check the heck out of the folks that said it because of being lighter complected. When I was working for a more Hispanic area, that they did feel more comfortable because I didn't have locks or anything identifiably African American. So, but at the end of the day, that was the reason they may have put me in the room. But the reason we got the deal or got the bid or got the contract or the money was by what's being said. But then I took that upon myself to go re-educate the folks that think you can only send a light-skinned girl in there. No, let me talk to you. Let me tell you what this is about. I know what just happened, but this can't happen again, and I'm gonna tell you why. And then I'm gonna train you on how we make sure this doesn't happen again.
How you can pick
so I do know that exists. Yeah, I do know that exists for sure.
All right, I'm just saying. We have different experiences. I'm telling you, you go in there, and I'm like, no, but for real, like, see, I really did go to these schools. It is me.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, are you sure? I was like, am I sure? I'm like, am I sure? Yes, I'm quite sure.
Now that's offensive. I'd be like, what do you mean?
Huh?
I would be like, what do you mean? I would have called them out on him. Why do you think I'm not?
Yeah, I was like,
with a smile. Why do you think I'm not?
Yeah, they got. I mean,
why do you think I'm not? But I just try to be as prepared as possible. Yeah. And usually after like I said, unless I'm sitting across from a staunch Klan member, the race and all of that usually goes out the window. When I start telling you how much I can save you money, green is everybody's color. Mm. I tell a corporation, you spent this much on this, I promise you I can reduce that by 25%. They don't care who's sitting across from them. Now, they may pay me less than they would have paid the other looking corporation, but that I don't know. But I also I see payment as different. The fact that I get to write Spirit Airlines on my resume will pay me forever. So if you lowball me here, don't worry, I've planned my profit for the cushion. Right. Yeah. So I see payment in all kinds of different places. 'Tis why I did the analysis for the Black restaurant, the ice cream shop, for free. Because I know where the payment's going to come from. Right. Once I give her SOPs, her standard operating procedures, give her cashiers a script that includes upselling and suggestive selling, and give her a way to work her prep so she can reduce her waste. You think she's not going to tell the other restaurants around her, this sister just helped me out? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That type of thing. So you have to really decide what is payment to you, and you have to understand where are all your pockets of money. Right. Yeah. This giveaway is actually going to be $1 million in a year.
So that'll be part of your marketing part of it, right? But then there's all these things have like a cap, right? It's a cap on how much of that you can do, because after a while, you know what I'm saying? Like, they might get you other customers, but they may not want to pay you what they supposed to pay you. And you know what I mean? Like, they go discussing prices.
It look like Felicia already got that on lock.
You ain't making no money, right? Because
Felicia got that on lock to me. She looked like she got that on lock.
Yes, but the only reason I have it on lock is because what I do, no one has a comparison to what it should be. Right. So I'm not selling you chicken and waffles that you pay $8 over here and you wonder why it's $19 over here. No one has any idea how much customer service training is supposed to cost. So when I show them what we pay when we hire a training company, or simply just bring up a site, here is Bright Solutions training for customer service for 50 people. They charge you $2,500. That's it. And then as soon as I tell them the value, I don't have that issue because it's hard to compare. Mm-hmm. Where I run into that issue is when I'm talking to corporations, right? Because they go out and get bids from 4 or 5 training companies. So they may be like, well, Felicia, you're charging $3,000 for a leadership training where Bright Star is only charging me $2,500. And then I have to tell them, well, it comes with a 60-day follow-up. It comes with blah, 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 and try. What I have found with my small businesses is they know they need it. I always thought it was out of reach cost-wise. So they are very relieved when I come in and say, for $25, send everybody from your front of house to this one training, $25 a head, and you walk out with something that companies have paid me 5 digits plus a bonus to create for them.
Mm-hmm. 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 So what can you say, just a general, nothing specific, but general to any, potential entrepreneur, business owner, or someone who is watching who's a business owner, because Sandra posted this on YouTube. She posted this on her page and different other pages that we are affiliated with. What would you say as a general advice to an African-American, female or male, who wants to own their own business or who have their own business right now and are in some kind of need of your services, and just a general suggestion and or advice, and also where they can reach you if they would, if they need that type of help?
The one thing I would say is you got to be okay with what you don't know, but then go find out. It's okay not to know how to do a P&L, but it's not okay to open a restaurant and not know. It's okay right now not to know how to measure out so you can prep properly, but it's not okay to open a business and expect the customer to understand when you run out of food. So know what you don't know ahead of time and get that knowledge, as much knowledge as you can around the business, because you've got enough knowledge around your talent. So increase your business knowledge as much as you can before you open the business. And how you do that is reaching out to a training house. The one thing that I can do besides train you and your employees on service, sales, systems, or what have you is I can also link you up with folks who have done what you have done. So if you want to open a restaurant, I can link you up with Alex Garcia Rivera, VP of Operations for Pollo Tropical, because all those restaurants are like little small businesses. So you get real world advice from folks who have done it and done it well. Again, we tend to monetize our talent, right? Nobody can cook an oxtail like me, but there are plenty of people who can sell it better.
And it don't taste as good.
Right.
Sell it better than you, and it don't taste as good.
That's the part that you have to understand. Yes, you make the best oxtails, but you don't sell them the best. And that's what you're trying to do when you monetize something that you do really well. Yeah.
Very nice.
So you got to know.
How can you be reached, Miss Felicia Martin?
Well, I want to say one more thing. So
sorry.
So I don't know if you tell them to hire attorneys when they have these businesses or whatever, but the one bit of advice, especially since you were talking about restaurants, I need these people to know that taxes are not part of your profits, right? It's not income, and you need to send the state their money, else you're going to find yourself in all kind of problems.
Listen, both my parents, Florida Department of Revenue, supervisor and collections for 40 years. I can help you with that too.
Okay, you won't believe the amount of folks, because again, I do a lot of immigration law, and then I have these clients who had a restaurant because they make that good legume, you know what I'm saying? And they collected the taxes, and they thought that was part of the money that they supposed to keep, and then all of a sudden, a year and a half later, they getting a bill for some G's, and and then they getting charged.
Yeah, my mama used to send you that bill.
You get charged. So the taxes go back to the state. Don't you?
Department of Revenue. The Department of Revenue.
So invest in that cash register that calculates it for you to tell you how much you need to mail out every month.
And there's so much software you can use. You can get a POS system that will take it out for you and tell you at the end of the month, at the end of the day, $12.84 was taxes or what have you. But again, I have found that one thing I want to leave with, I know you guys got to move on. Everything that happens to Black businesses aren't the fault of the owner not fill in the blank. There is real systemic racism out there. Right? There is real systemic racism. You have landlords that snatch leases from Black owners where they open on Friday and not open on Saturday. And then we on Facebook blasting them for not keeping consistent hours, not knowing they've been up all night crying because somebody just did this to them. We have Black owners who are outdoing their white counterparts, and their white counterparts are calling the police, license, code enforcement, because they got friends and that type of thing, shutting down our businesses. We have manufacturers that won't sell Black restaurants certain spices. I mean, there is a real thing against our dollar. So if anything, I would ask us to be patient, because the things we think are their fault sometimes are not. And we as business owners have to understand how to professionally stomach what's happening without passing that need for understanding on to our guests. Because I know right now there's a restaurant whose landlord is messing with him every week.
Yeah,
every week.
They paid for a build out for the space, and now they since the build out is paid for, they want the space back.
See what I mean?
So those kind of things happen.
So, you asking for all this business, but look at this little old restaurant, not knowing the man paid for the build out. People don't took his money. See what I mean? Right? So, if anything, business owners, that's the kind of thing you should want the customer to understand, not the fact that you had to fight your child teacher. That's why you open in the hairdresser lane. But if there are customers on here, though there's no customer class, and you have the right to spend your money where you spend. When you think about your culture and your people, though, just know BLM is real. BLM is BBM. Black businesses matter. There's a real system against us doing business. We can't open up hair care stores because the Asians will not sell wholesale to Black folks, and Black folks have to then buy it at a higher rate, which means they have to sell it at a higher rate.
More. And the people why I'm gonna pay you for it when I could go get it over here for like half the price or a third of the price. Yeah.
I think it's important. I think it's important, Felicia, that you, as well as I know that you're friends with Rochelle on Black-owned business. Mm-hmm. I think that it's important that you have a show specifically on the systematic racism of Black businesses, because
you're trying to get me shut the hell down so they don't give Training House no money. Hell, girl.
Because she said that she need the corporate money in order for her.
Well, then we'll do it. I'll do my research and we'll do it.
Discounted rate.
Well,
now,
we'll do it.
What I could do is host a panel and through strategic question asking.
There we go.
Yeah, there's always a way around it.
I think our community needs to understand that and be more, show more grace. And be able to be there to show that support, because I didn't know that. I didn't know some of them were going through all these things. I had no idea.
Real thing. It's a real, because you know what, we have pride.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's amazing how we'll tell you, we had a fight with the teacher at the school, but won't tell you, yo, ATF up my behind and snatched my inventory.
Mm-hmm.
We're embarrassed. It makes us look like we don't know what we're doing with our business. Yeah. And we also don't want to look like we complain. Oh, then white people that did it to me again. Like, it's such a trap.
Yeah.
You know what's happening to you. You know what's happening to you. So, if we could just understand that it goes further than just police brutality. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it'll lend to our patients.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was so good. Like, I learned something today. I'm always glad to learn something, especially for our community, because I always end with, I love us so much. I mean, like, I don't know if I can express it in words how much I love us. Yeah. So it's important that we always do whatever we can to support each other. That's number one. Number two, we need to make sure that our Black agenda is the major agenda, right? Yeah. My thing is, I've always said to everybody, every time the Black people win, everybody benefits. Our legislations, our policies, everything that we fight for, everyone benefits from it. Mm-hmm. Everybody, every race, every nationality, everybody benefits. So it's important that we understand that and not be afraid or not be feeling that we shouldn't be pushing that agenda. I say push it with your whole self, because at the end of the day, everyone benefits from us. Yeah. And we don't mind. Yeah. We don't want, we just want equity. That's all we want, some equity. Okay. So everybody benefits. And because we're going to round out and close out, wear your masks, double up if you need to.
Yes.
Please follow the 6 feet. Sometimes I would suggest, even 10 feet. Do your social distancing. Okay. We need to make everybody healthy again. Mm-hmm. And just, be mindful of each other and love each other. We need to unify. I know that it's taboo or, passe or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, when we unify together, I mean, look what we did after George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. All we have to do is just find some common ground to kind of bring it together. And then let's not just only do it when we lose a sister or brother. Let's do it just the fact that the system is set up against us.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for.
All right. If your folks would like to reach me or the Training House, traininghouseflorida@gmail.com. That's our email address.
Traininghouseflorida@gmail.com. Do you have a Facebook
page? Traininghousefl@gmail.com.
Traininghousefl@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. And do you
taking that worldwide, y'all?
I'm working on
a next. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And she's able to do her training through Zoom. She's able to do her, right? And how else are you doing your training? Through Zoom? How are you meeting clients? Are you doing your meeting social distancing? Oh, she's able to do it face-to-face.
I can even design you an e-learning. That's going to cost you a little bit more, but I can send you something if you don't want me to come to your place.
Very, very nice. Can you say that email one more time, please?
Traininghousefl@gmail.com.
Perfection.
All right. So what's your final thoughts? Because we're about to close out, right? What's your closing thoughts?
Good luck to all the business owners that want to open a business, but just make sure you have done your research on the business behind your talent. It's more than just monetizing what you do well. You have to sell what you do well. Don't forget to sell what you do well. There you go. That's it.
Don't forget to sell. Hashtag don't forget to sell what you do well.
Hello.
Yeah. Right. Because people want to, it's not, because some people had the guilt of like profiting on their passion, right, or their purpose or whatever, you could do that, but you need to understand like the business side of it.
Don't deny yourself the dollar.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah. And
Final thoughts, Chef Blair.
correctly. Don't undercharge, don't overcharge. I mean, yeah. All right. So me, you know me, I'm like, there's an election in Miramar, Delray Beach, Sea Ranch, Hillsborough, Coconut Creek on March the 9th, 2020. You should have already requested your vote by mail ballot. You can't request it now, you know, because the deadline was on the 27th.
Sure was.
And but you probably already have it. Send it, mail it in. And if you haven't, because today's already the 3rd, the election is March 9th. It's only on that day, March 9th, in Miramar, Coconut Creek, Sea Ranch, Hillsborough, and what's the other one? Which one did I say?
Deerfield. Yeah.
Yes.
Can we drop it off at the voting site Tuesday?
You can drop it off. You can drop it off
on the day of. On the day of, you can drop it off. And also, this is not like the regular elections. They may have 1 or 2 precincts open. So it's important that you go to the Broward, soe.org.
Yeah. Broward has, I think it's like 22 sites that are open in the county for that election.
So, please go to
you have to vote at your wherever your neighborhood area is or something like that. You have to vote there.
Yeah. But make sure you go to the Broward, Supervisor of Elections website, and they'll give you specifics where you go. Listen, guys, it's important that we vote in every election, right? Okay. These are the people that make the decisions for your everyday life. So you need to know your commissioners. You need to know who these people are. So please go to Broward, soe.org. Find out where your polling sites are for those 5 cities that are running. Miami-Dade, if you're in Miami-Dade, they have an election April 13th. April 13th, and there's about like 6-7 cities are having elections there.
I know Corrigan is one of them. We spoke to somebody from there.
Yeah, we did.
So I'm gonna just put it out there. I'm a resident of the city of Miramar, and I don't know who to vote for that 3rd seat. I have not decided on that seat 3 yet.
ask Wayne Messam.
I'm gonna put somebody want to tell me, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Make those 5 or 6 people who are running for that seat reach out to you, sis.
I'm running in that race, and I don't know.
Well, they need to reach out to
you. I don't know what's happening with 3 though.
Maybe we got to put together some kind of political debate or something before Tuesday to see if you can find out about it.
Yeah, I done seen a few, and I don't know.
Ladies, it has been fun.
It has. We are very appreciative that you made some time for us. And I know that you're very, very busy. And we thank you very much for coming. I learned something new today. I'm excited. Shout out that email one more time, Ms. Martin, soon to be Forbes.
Yes. Training House FL, as in Florida, traininghousefl@gmail.com.
Perfection. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening. Sandra, again, is always fun hanging out, talking about what we're talking about. Next week, we're going to do it again.
March 9th.
March 9th. So listen, that is going to be the next day for our show after, right? So we get to talk about who won, who didn't win. It's going to be very interesting.
We're going to see who will win seat 3.
I can't with you. I can't.
Good night, ladies.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.